This is an introduction to electricity markets, where we will explore their main features and the intricate structure of the wholesale market. We will delve into the various roles of various participants, including generators who produce electricity and transmission lines which transport this electricity over long distances. Additionally, we will examine how pricing works in this market, including factors that influence cost and the various mechanisms used to determine prices. By the end of this discussion, you will have a clear understanding of how electricity markets operate and their significance in the overall energy landscape. All sources will be provided below, and this is the first video of an engaging series that delves into the complex world of power system economics. Let's start by discussing the uniqueness of the electricity market. Firstly, it operates on a continuous basis, meaning that electricity is generated, transmitted, and consumed in real time, without any pauses. Unlike other markets where products can be stored and sold later, the instantaneous nature of electricity means the supply must always meet demand, creating a dynamic and often complex environment that requires constant monitoring and adjustment. Balancing electric supply and demand is crucial for ensuring grid stability and preventing outages while maintaining efficient energy use. There are two key concepts that are important to know that include baseload and peak load. First, let's talk about baseload power. This is the blue area on the graph. This is the minimum amount of electricity needed to meet the continuous demand for power over a 24-hour period. Think of it as the steady heartbeat of our energy system. Baseload power is crucial for running components that need electricity all the time. Typically, this demand is met by large, steady generators like nuclear, hydroelectric, and coal-fired power plants. These plants run continuously over extended periods to ensure a consistent power supply. Now let's discuss peak load power. This is reflected on the red area on the graph. This refers to the maximum electricity demanded by the grid during periods of high demand. Peak demand is essentially the difference between our base demand and the highest demand experienced. For example, during hot summer afternoons when air conditionings are cranked up, or when millions tune for a World Cup final, the demand for electricity surges. To satisfy these spikes, we need additional power sources that can be quickly activated. This is where plants like diesel generators and gas come into play. The key difference is that peak load can be unpredictable, often surging due to high temperatures or snowstorms, when everybody increases their energy source. And here's the kicker: peak energy is frequently more expensive. Now, where do renewable sources like solar and wind fit into this equation? They're often categorized as variable or intermittent renewable energy sources. This means that their output depends on the availability of sunlight and wind, which can change over time. As we transition to a renewable energy future, it is vital to understand how these variable sources can be integrated into our energy system. We will be digging deep into the electricity markets. Usually, we pair wind and solar power with other electricity sources and energy storage solutions to balance supply and demand. This ensures a stable and reliable electricity supply while maximizing our use of renewable sources. System operators play a crucial role in the smooth operation of the bulk electric grid, connecting power plants to distribution system across vast distances. They are essential in the wholesale electricity market, where their primary responsibility is to constantly balance the demand for electricity with the available supply and the transmission capabilities of the network. This balancing act requires close monitoring of system parameters such as frequency and voltage to ensure everything runs efficiently and reliably. When disruptions occur due to equipment failures or unexpected spikes in demand, system operators are tasked with swiftly managing this situation, implementing solutions to maintain stability. System operators schedule the dispatch of power plants, ensuring that electricity flows without interruption, while striving to keep costs low. Electricity produced by a single generator cannot be directed to a specific consumer. Instead, all power generated is pooled into a shared network, allowing it to be distributed among various users based on demand and supply conditions. This pooling is possible because units of electrical energy produced by different generating units are indistinguishable. This pooling system is crucial for ensuring that electricity is available to all consumers, regardless of where it is produced. Additionally, economies of scale play a significant role in this process. Larger electricity generators can operate more efficiently, which helps to meet aggregate demand across the grid. The interdependencies within the electric system became obviously apparent during various power outages in India, highlighting the fragility of the infrastructure and energy supply. These incidents were not isolated. They served as reminders of the systemic vulnerabilities faced by the country. For instance, the 2012 power outages, deemed the largest in history by the number of people affected, underscored the dire consequences of an overburdened grid. On July 30 and 31st, two severe blackouts struck, impacting approximately 600 million individuals, nearly half of India's population. When two of the four main power grids became overloaded, the overwhelming repercussions extended beyond loss of electricity. Transportation was crippled, with immobilized trains and evacuations in subways. Consequently, essential services such as hospitals and businesses were plunged into chaos, demonstrating how interconnected and reliant these sectors are on a stable power supply. In many urban areas, localized disruptions went unnoticed due to the prevailing backup systems like diesel generators. However, the extensive fallout from such widespread blackouts reveals the critical dependence on a cohesive and reliable electric infrastructure. The cyclicality of electricity consumption reflects predictable patterns throughout the year, heavily influenced by seasonal and daily variations in demand. Let's use the US as an example. In the summer month, total US electricity hourly electricity load peaks during the afternoons, largely driven by the widespread use of air conditioning in homes and businesses, attempting to combat the heat. Conversely, winter months present a different consumption profile. Although overall load is less variable, peaks occur in the morning and evening when people prepare for the day and return home. Spring and autumn see lower electricity demand as households rely less on heating and cooling systems. The US Energy Information Administration is tracking near real-time data on hourly electricity loads across the lower 48 states since 2015, enabling insights into these patterns via the US Hourly Electric Grid Monitor. Nearly all households in the US utilize electricity, with significant proportions depending on it for diverse needs from cooking to heating. Daily consumption typically follows residential habits, with minimal use during the night. Furthermore, consumption patterns vary across weekdays and weekends. Demand tends to decrease during weekends and holidays when commercial offices close, categorizing periods into on-peak and off-peak hours. The daily cycle of electricity usage is marked by the lowest demand around 5 a.m., escalating to daily peaks that fluctuate with the seasons, highlighting the critical relationship between electricity demand, weather conditions, and the geographical distribution of energy resources across the country. So, which generators are dispatched first? The variable operating cost of the electric power generation play a vital role in deciding which units of power system will engage to satisfy electric demand. In general terms, generators with lower variable cost are usually activated first, while those with higher cost are brought online incrementally as demand increases. This process is illustrated in an electricity supply curve, also known as the dispatch curve, which outlines the sequence of unit activation to match demand. System operators aim to maintain enough generating capacity to meet anticipated electricity needs along a reserve margin for unforeseen circumstances, such as extreme temperatures. The arrangement of these power units depend largely on their variable cost. In the dispatch chart, two vertical lines represent different demand scenarios, showing the units positioned left of the line would fulfill the electricity needs at that moment. Baseload units, typically operational around the clock, year-round, except during maintenance, are found on the left side of the curve. Peaking generators, on the other hand, which are primarily used during peak demand times, are located on the right side. Intermediate or cycling units adjust their output accordingly to daily and seasonal demand fluctuations. The specific order of dispatch varies nationwide based on factors like fuel prices, renewable resource availability, and local unit characteristics. The least costly generators are often nuclear, hydroelectric, and renewable sources such as wind and solar. In the US, nuclear plants are predominantly run as baseload units at maximum capacity. Although wind and solar facilities boast low operational cost, their productivity depends on natural conditions. Some power systems adjust for these variable resources, while others do not, leading to situations where wind generation is curtailed to maintain a balance between supply and demand. Hydroelectric plants also feature low variable costs, but their dispatch is subject to numerous factors, including water levels, environmental considerations, and revenue optimization, making their patterns complex. On the other hand, the variable cost of fossil fuel generation depend largely on fuel prices and the efficiency of converting that fuel into electricity. Coal plants have historically been baseload units due to their low fuel cost, and while natural gas facilities have typically met intermediate and peak loads. Peaking units, which tend to have the highest variable cost, are called upon mainly during peak demands periods and often include diesel generators and gas-fired combustion turbines. As petroleum is generally more expensive than natural gas, it is less frequently utilized in the electricity sector. While variable operating costs largely drive dispatch decisions, other factors such as startup times, ramp rates, air quality regulation, environmental pricing, such as carbon trading schemes, transmission system limitation, and other like operators' preferences for minimizing cycling of nuclear units can also influence this decision. The marginal pricing electricity in Europe operates on the principle that electricity prices are dictated by the variable cost of the marginal plant, which is the last generator required to meet consumer demand. This mechanism is fundamental to short-term wholesale markets, such as the day-ahead market, where prices are set based on anticipated demand and available generation capacity. The concept is visually represented by the merit order curve, a graph that arranges different generation plants according to their operating cost, showcasing how the least expensive plants are dispatched first, followed by progressively more costly options until demand is met. In this system, all generators receive the same market price regardless of their individual operational cost, leading to a uniform price structure where all consumers pay the same rate for electricity. This pricing model encourages economic efficiency in the electricity market and promotes competition among generation sources, fostering a transition towards a more sustainable energy solution. An excellent illustration of marginal pricing can be seen in the agricultural market, specifically with soy farming. Consider two soy farmers. The first is a modern mechanized farmer who operates with low production cost of $2 per bushel, while the second one employs traditional farming methods with a high manual labor cost yielding $10 per bushel. Both farms produce soy of the same quality and are crucial to meeting consumer demand. The more expensive farmer cannot sell below $10 without incurring losses, as that price covers all the production costs. The efficient market, knowing that the market price is dictated by the most or the more costly producer that meets fulfills complete demand, will not sell for less than $10 either, since there will be no incentive to do so. Consequently, a uniform market price emerges at $10 as the cost of the marginal producing sets the ceiling price. This scenario mirrors the dynamics of the electricity pricing, where the last generator to meet demand similarly establishes the market price for all consumers. These are some of the most common features of the wholesale electricity market. While there is much more to discuss regarding this complex and dynamic sector, the following points highlight the most relevant aspects to help you to get started on this topic. Understanding these features will provide a solid foundation for exploring the various mechanisms and regulations that govern electricity trading, pricing strategies, and influence of renewable energy sources in the market. In the upcoming video, we will delve into electricity forward markets, exploring the essential differences between centralized and decentralized systems. We'll provide real numerical examples to illustrate these concepts and unpack the intricacies involved in dispatching electricity, determining prices, and navigating the real life constraints that impact efforts to minimize total electrical costs. Thank you so much. Do not forget to subscribe if you like this video and stay tuned for more contents on energy and economics. Thank you for watching and see you soon.